Joining us now from Washington, D.C. is Daniel Serwer. He is a professor at Johns Hopkins University. Welcome to the program. Sir, Malaki has pulled the army out and provided more aid to Anbar province, but clearly that's not enough. What can the Iraqi government do to try and calm things down?
Well, the Iraqi government has two problems in Anbar. One is with an unhappy Sunni population. The other is with al-Qaeda militants, and it needs political instruments to deal with the unhappy Sunni population, and it needs military instruments to deal with al-Qaeda. And as long as these two things are conflated, there's no hope of a successful resolution.
So what kind of political instruments should he be using then?
Well, certainly the kinds that he has already offered are of some use, but the issue for the Sunnis in Anbar is much more one of feeling disempowered, not listened to, discriminated against. And he needs to find the ways that he can respond positively to those grievances. The resignation of the parliamentarians, it seems to me, is particularly harmful politically to Malaki, who faces a challenge from Shia forces in the next election. So he may need Sunni support. In fact, I'm pretty certain he will need Sunni support in order to continue as prime minister after April.
I thought that he could not run for a third term as prime minister. Is that incorrect then?
Well, so far as I can tell, he intends to run for a third term, and I don't think there seems to be no bar by the courts to that. So I'm assuming he's a candidate. I think most people in Iraq assume he's a candidate. But he is going to, I don't think he's going to be able to go to the polls with a completely unified Shia bloc. I think he's going to have some real competition from the Shia. And he's been very clever in the past about reaching out to the Sunni when he needed them, reaching out to the Kurds when he needed them, and he has to continue being clever about that. At the same time, there's no question there's an al-Qaeda threat as well. It's not numerically a very large threat, but it is a very disruptive threat, and it is killing Iraqis. And he needs to be able to respond to that with force. But if he gets too confused, if he responds to the protesters with force rather than to al-Qaeda with force, he could make his political problem worse.
As you said, Iraqis are being killed, though, in this conflict. Can you put the current tensions into perspective for us? I believe that, you know, we saw very bad sectarian tensions in 2006 and 2008. How does what's happening now compare to that?
It's small compared to that. The deaths in 2006 to 2008 were something like 5 times what they are today. There is an uptick in violence in Iraq, maybe even a doubling in some weeks of deaths in Iraq, and it's a level of violence that would be totally unacceptable to me or you, and is also to most Iraqis. But it is nothing yet like the 2006-2008 civil war, which was at least 5 times as deadly as what's happening now.
All right, Daniel, thank you very much once again for speaking to us. Daniel Serwer there in Washington, D.C.
My pleasure.